Hello there, my friends. Welcome to another Star Wars chat. We are breaking down the latest episode of The Mandalorian. Season 2, Episode 3 is here, and it was a freaking hit. I loved it. And this is the way to the breakdown, the Easter eggs, and all of the cool stuff that we liked, our opinions. So let's get to this. Welcome back, everybody. If this is your first time on the channel, we do a Star Wars chat every Monday, breaking down The Mandalorian for you guys. So, if you can, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can stay up to date on all of the content. And with me today, breaking all this stuff down, is my Mandalorians here. My bounty hunters are all with me right now, and we're going to be talking about this. Starting off with my man, Seth. How are you, buddy?
What's poppin', everybody? I thought you were gonna say we were all part of the Death Watch.
The Death Watch? No. You're already giving spoilers away. I haven't even told people spoilers.
Sorry.
All right, man. Making his first appearance on the show, we got my man Frankie in the house. How are you, buddy?
Thanks, man. Thank you. Doing good. Real good.
Glad to have you here, bro.
Definitely glad to be here.
It's gonna be fun. All right, and also making her first appearance, we have Nilda in the house. How are you, Nilda?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Star Wars fans, I love being able to talk with you guys, so this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this all week, especially after that episode.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Shoot. That episode, man. I wanted to talk that day,
Yep.
It was hot fire.
All right,
I think I saw it like five times?
I think I'm up to 4.
Yeah, I'm up for it.
I'm good with the one time.
You're good with
What was it? You have really good memory, right, Seth?
I do have really good memory.
Yeah, I got to watch it over and over again. Because I feel like there's going to be something I missed, so I just keep rewinding it. How many of you guys actually went and translated the Arborish? Is that how you pronounce it? The Arborish on the screen?
Yeah.
I went back and paused it and zoomed in on it. I was like, man, I got to figure out what this is saying.
One of the episodes I watched, I put it in captions. To make sure I heard everything in good hearing.
True. All right, so for those of you guys who are watching us, if you have not seen this latest episode of The Mandalorian, shame on you. You should turn this off right now. Go watch that episode right now. Support it. If you're a true Star Wars fan, shame on you even more. You should be watching this show. All right, so go watch it if you haven't seen it. Otherwise, if you came here to hang out with us, we're going to be breaking down, like I said, the entire show, Easter eggs. There's going to be major spoilers ahead. So if you don't want to hear any of this, now's your time to abandon ship. Before we get into this, let's go around table. Obviously, we already said it a little bit, but what did you guys think of this latest episode? Nilda, let's kick it off with you.
I thought it was amazing. In the beginning, I was like, holy crap, they're showing, Baby Yoda, or whatever we want to call him, the child, just sitting there in the crate. The mother frog is holding dear to her little container, hopefully, praying that this little kid is not going to eat her kids anymore. And, as soon as the scene comes where all the Mandos are just dropping down, I'm in my office typing away, screaming, what the fuck? I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I had to pause because I had to make sure that nobody in my job was staring at me. Mind you, I work at a doctor's office and, I had to keep it a little bit peachy as I'm watching the episode.
You're not going to bleed out. Just hold on.
Yeah. I was like, wait a second. I'm like, your insurance is fine. I'm billing the correct people. But just
where are the paddles? We need them stat. Clear.
Mind you, I'm dealing with back spasm as well, where I'm being seen by my doctor, and they're doing x-rays on me, and I'm like, wait a second, I'm like, I have to see this one scene, like, give me 1 second. So, overall, I thought it was probably out of the top episodes that I've passed on. Well, it's the 3rd episode, but it was the best one so far. I don't know how they're gonna sit there and top, this episode after this.
Definitely. Frankie, what'd you think, man?
Well, it's definitely better than the last episode.
Yeah.
And for me, I love that Bryce Dallas Howard redeemed herself. I didn't care too much for hers in the first season. But driving the story along, I loved it. The action was there. And just the tie. I love the tie-ins, right? So any tie-ins to deal with previous shows, movies, anything like that. So obviously the tie-in with the Rebels cartoon series, just all of that was just nailing it for me. I love this freaking episode.
Seth, what you think, bro?
All right, so what I'm going to say right now is probably going to make everybody laugh, but just bear with me, okay?
Oh boy.
I really I'm going to reiterate what Frankie just said, because I love the fact that they're tying in Mandalorian, Clone Wars, Rebels, all these shows that are now starting to get closure and kind of intertwine with one another. So in reality, hey, Fox, get your shit together with the X-Men and clean up the damn timelines, will you? Jesus Christ. So take note. Please take note and clean up the damn timelines. It's super confusing.
There you go.
But it was definitely one of the probably the best episode of this season so far. I definitely loved the action. Like Nilda said, it was great to see the other Mandalorians come down. We've got introduced to Bo-Katan. I was a little disappointed with the appearance made by Sasha Banks, because there were rumors, circulating around for the longest time that she was going to be playing Sabine Wren, and she wound up being another character. So who knows if we are going to get Sabine Wren? But still, it was a great episode. I thought it was very action packed. Anytime an episode is able to hold my attention, then it's a good episode. Like last week's one, I was just kind of like in and out because, it was just a filler episode, and I'm not, you need something to hold my attention. So this one was fantastic. And like I said, like everything's kind of getting tied in now. So it's clarifying things and clearing stuff up.
I loved it. To me, it was probably, I'm going to just say it was the best episode of both seasons. There was so
George,
much going on.
for a fact you were geeking out so bad.
I was there, and my wife's asking me, who's that woman? And I'm like choking up, saying, it's Bo-Katan. And she's like, are you really crying? I was like, it's her. She's here. I was like, man, this is great. It was such an awesome episode. Like I said, just like you said, no doubt. I've seen it 4 times now. You've seen it 5 times. And it hasn't gotten old. My 3-year-old was there with me, and she cuddled all up in my arm, and then she's just like staring at it. She's like, whoa, just going along with it. The whole episode. Now, granted, this episode was short. It was only like 35 minutes compared to all the others, which. Yeah.
But it didn't feel short.
No, it didn't.
The first go around, it did not feel short at all.
It didn't at all. I agree.
I hate when you watch an episode. Yeah. I hate when you watch an episode that's like so good like this and it's short amount on time. It just like leaves you wanting more. And now it sucks that we've got to wait a whole another week now to get even more clarification to see where this goes now. So I just it was one of those episodes that was like, oh my god, like wow.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised that it was 35 minutes. People were telling me that. I didn't feel that way, and they're like, oh, this was an extremely short episode. And I was like, really?
I didn't even realize. Are you serious?
Yeah.
35?
Yeah.
35 minutes.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe how short that was in comparison, And
it's going downhill. That's not good.
I know. We need to keep them an hour, man. It's not fair.
The season finale is going to wind up being 5 minutes.
Damn it, Seth.
He's like, there.
Here you go. Here's baby Yoda.
Here's the kid.
Yeah. So this week's episode kicks off with the Mandalorian drifting off into space with the Frog Lady, and they make it to Trask, and then they go to land in Trask, and they don't have any landing gear because it got all destroyed by that big, huge spider in the last episode, and they barely make it to the landing platform, and it was cool because I loved how the whole, I got it, and then it just falls in the water. That was awesome comedic timing. And this episode had a lot of comedy in it, but it was done pretty subtly. For what it was. What did you guys think about the comedy that they were throwing at us in this episode?
I liked it. It was in context. It was, just wasn't over the top. It flowed with what was going on.
It was very quirky with the one-liners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when he was like, I paid you 100, or he goes, I paid you 1,000 for this, and the ship has got like wiring and like different pieces of like moss and everything on it.
Yeah, he did tell him, I'll make it fly.
Yeah,
he did.
That's about it.
I think there was like a piece of cloth covering one part of it. It looked like it was like zip tied to the side of the ship.
Yeah, it did look. That thing's in worse shape than the Falcon, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There were some really good laughable parts. Like at the end when he goes to pick up Baby Yoda from the frog couple, and he's like, "Come on, let's go." He's like, "I already have enough pets."
Yeah.
That was great. The part when they're in the restaurant and like Baby Yoda's trying to eat and like the face hugger jumps out of the thing and he's like, "Hey, stop!" Yeah, he's like, "Stop playing with your food." Yeah, that shit had me dying laughing.
The face hugger part cracked me up because it was not just funny, because it was happening, but I love that it was basically confirming most of our thoughts about the last episode when he was opening up the egg and all of us were expecting the face hugger to jump out, and now we're getting it here. So I thought that was pretty hilarious.
And even the stuff that's not said. So like after he tells him not to play with his food and he takes it off with the knife and how the baby, and he just looks at him like, the hell, man?
Yeah.
Like a child getting reprimanded by their father.
Right.
Yeah. Baby Yoda brought back the cuteness on this one. He dropped a couple notches for me on the last episode, but on this one, I think he redeemed himself. He
went full dick last episode.
Dude, I love that. Him eating that and then just being so cold that he just ate it right in front of me. He just like turned around and ate it.
So I'm kind of disappointed that one of my theories didn't come to fruition.
You're in that theory. Okay.
So me and George were talking about this. So I thought almost for sure that they were going to run into an issue and the pod with all her eggs in it were going to break and the eggs were going to die, and then somehow last minute Baby Yoda is going to come out of nowhere and regurgitate or shit out all the eggs that he eaten, and he's like, "Oh, here you go, here are your babies." And George was like, how is he going to protect being in his stomach? I was like, "Oh, the Force."
That's not how the Force works.
It's the Force. The Force he was going to protect, but obviously that didn't happen, and the babies made it safely, and
the many few babies that survived.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The babies that did not survive the wrath of the baby.
I'm glad Seth's theory didn't come out. That was just a
good
idea.
Anything's plausible. You don't know where these writers' heads are at.
Yeah, true.
We actually had a customer today at the store telling us that he was actually highly upset that Baby Yoda was eating the frogs. And I'm like, why? And he goes, this is the last of their lineage. He's like, and he's not taking care of it and just completely eating it. And I'm staring at the customer like, dude, it's a baby. Like,
they don't care about that.
They don't care about that. I don't have kids, but when I was a kid, I was touching everything that I possibly wanted to touch.
True. They made me laugh.
It was so cute.
That same scene, though, I love how they're, so when the ship doesn't make it.
Yeah.
And they're using, I like how they, like, realistically, you would repurpose stuff, right? Something's used for one purpose and then later on. So the AT-ATs, how they're using it as a salvage vehicle.
Right. That was a cool little Easter egg that they had there.
I love that.
That was really neat. And then you had, when they actually got off onto the platform, you saw that at least that, I don't know, dock or city that they were in was like completely populated by Mon Calamari and Corrin.
Yeah.
So that was pretty neat. And it makes me wonder if this is anywhere near Mon Cala. That'd be kind of cool. Or I know a lot of them kind of left because of the whole Empire attacking that planet. So it's cool to see them come back.
I would have loved to see when Mando comes back at the end to get his ship. The guy's like, "Oh, I paid you 1,000 credits or whatnot," like Mulder was saying before. And then all of a sudden, as he's walking away, he's like, "It's a train." Like underneath his breath, he's like, "It's a train." That shit would have been awesome. I would have been like, "Oh, there it is."
Yeah.
What the hell is this? It's a tart.
Yeah, it's a tart. That would have been good. That would have been pretty good. I wonder if that was even thought.
Yeah, that was great.
So they get to the I don't know what to call that city, because they didn't even name the city. So they're in Trask, and then they're told that by the father of the frog couple. I don't know what to call it. We'll call him Kermit. So Kermit and Piggy. Kermit and Piggy. Kermit goes and tells him, okay, you can go to the bar or the inn, and then there you'll find your answers for more Mandalorians. Another Mon Calamari tells him that this other guy, this Corrin's going to take him to wherever he's going to go. and then you go to you end up on this boat, right? Which the boat kind of reminded me a little bit of a Hammerhead Corvette, right?
Yep.
I was like so sure about that. Then I looked up the ship and I was like, if it's that ship, it's like cut in half. So, but still,
but
that's
backing up to the end, the conversation in there when he's talking to the corn about the way that dude kept laughing, I'm like, I'm not trusting you.
How do you trust him, right? How did you trust him? I agree.
I didn't trust him when he kept pushing for them to stare in the middle of the pit, like where he wanted to show them what they were gonna feed. And he was like, "Oh, the child might like it," and I'm like, "Oh, I see something bad happening."
Yeah, he was real persistent about.
Yeah, about especially the child.
You find it interesting.
Yeah, you find it.
Yeah, which the Corrin have a thing about that, right? Even when during the Clone Wars, they were kind of the bad guys, during the Clone Wars for the Mon Calamari. So,
well, some of them were bounty hunters too for what is it for Jabba?
Yeah,
there's one of them. Yeah, one of them. We realized that last night when we kept reviewing it and looking at the show again. That one of them was a bounty hunter for in Jabba's bar.
So, how much of a badass Corrin do you have to be to go live on a desert planet?
Right? No water around you. Either that or you drinking all the time, man. You got some hydration on you, man. Oh, man. So we already talked about the facehugger part that passed by. He's on the boat. He gets tricked into jumping into that pool, but they knock the child into that monster thing that sees that squid that's underneath the water, and then he gets dropped in there, or jumps in there, and then Bo-Katan appears. Now I was screaming at the top of my lungs when Bo-Katan appeared. What were your guys' feelings when she showed up?
So I didn't think it was going to be her. I thought it was actually going to be Sabine Wren showing up.
My buddy thought the same thing. Like he's texting me in all caps.
Yeah, I agree.
When you saw Sasha Banks sitting at the dock in the cloak, I was like, oh, okay. I was like, all right. I was like, we're gonna see Sabine Wren now, and and of course, all three of them come flying in, and and then all of a sudden they rescue him, and they're like taking off the helmet, and he's about to be like, what? You're taking off your helmet? This is unheard of.
Which is cool though. Yeah. Two cool things about that though, because one, you got Katie Sackhoff reprising her role as Bo-Katan, which is awesome because she played the voice in Clone Wars and in Rebels, so that's really cool. And she looks like her. So
when she took that off, and it was like, oh damn, that was a transition right there.
When she said, "Take my hand," when I heard her voice, I immediately was like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds just like her.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like her.
Yeah, and then of course the utter disappointment in my mind to see that it wasn't Sabine Wren, it was Bo-Katan, which isn't a disappointment, I should say, but I thought it was a disappointment for Sasha Banks because I thought she was going to play a more predominant character, but it looks like they just have her in there as like a filler character with like, they only gave her one line the entire show. So it kind of sucked in my opinion. I thought they were going to give more to her, but I guess not. But it was cool to see that whole trio of Mandalorians show up, and again, like he's like, "You're not Mandalorian." He's like, "How dare you take off your helmet? This is against Mandalore."
Yeah, see, that was the other cool thing though, is because then they tell us basically why he has to keep his helmet on. Because that was something that I had a question about in the first season, because there's so many Mandalorians that take their helmet off. So
right, yep. So they tied that. That's what I'm saying, man. With Dave Filoni, he's like, he listens to what's going on in the community and then tries to figure, like, I'm going to put this to rest. We're going to explain this because he has such a big understanding of the whole.
Right. Which also makes me wonder too, how is Din going to? Because they helped each other, but he kind of did it reluctantly. He didn't really want to help her, and so. It makes me wonder if later down are they going to finally like join forces and maybe he'll see her ways and help her out in the future, or if they're eventually going to become enemies again and have to duke it out. Since he's
I think it's because he's more used to just being by himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think after he's probably with them for a couple more times and does missions with them, or he just sees that they're together as a group, maybe possibly he'll form and be with them. But I think in his mind frame, if he handles everything by himself, he knows he can get the job done. So I think that's why he still has that mentality of, you know, like, what are you guys doing? When he freaked out when, you know, when she said, "Oh, we're taking the ship."
Yeah.
He's like, that wasn't in the plan.
Yeah, he had an issue with that, definitely. Yeah, and then I like that part too. It's because then he said that the whole you're altering the deal, and I was like waiting for a pray out of any photo.
Yep, that's what everybody, all of us played that in our head.
Yep. So that was cool. So we get before we get to that part, they talk about everything. He doesn't want to join with them. It's because of the whole helmet thing. You know, he feels that that their ways are not his ways.
I like how he says it too, because he's always like, "Go ahead, Seth."
No, I was just going to say a nicer way about it was just saying it's against his religion.
Yeah.
You know,
true.
Well, he kind of does because
that's just the easiest way to describe it. It's against his religion to take off his helmet.
His response is always, "Where did you get that armor?" I mean, that's basically just that you ain't supposed to be wearing that.
Yeah. Which the Death Watch were very like set in their ways, very like you said, zealots. You know?
Right.
And the funny thing was that she was a Death Watch member, so
right.
She would know, So
she'll be the one to be able to convince him. So there's, I mean, there's your avenue right there.
I'm hoping it does this because later on it brings us to where they're taking over that capital cruiser or whatever that thing is, that battleship,
the Imperial transport ship,
Imperial transport ship, right? And they're kicking the shit out of these stormtroopers. By the way, those guys were just like dropping like flies. But
they can't hit the side of a bantha.
Yeah, but it was really funny that if you look at Din's reaction as he's going down, he's like, "Oh shit!" He's like, "I don't," he didn't have anything to do there. They were like killing everybody before he could get in there and have any fun.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting to see.
I would have loved if when she took off her helmet and he looked at her and he would have been like, "This is not the way." This is not the way.
What did you guys think of that battle sequence, man? That was pretty fun.
Great. That was great.
I loved it.
The one thing that I thought was funny, and me and you were talking about this earlier, it's like, how can you be running down a hallway and the stormtroopers just constantly hitting you all over the place, but yet they're hitting your armor, but they can't hit in between the plates of the armor.
Yeah.
They were aiming there.
Yeah. Well, no one ever said that stormtroopers could shoot well.
That made no sense to me at all. It hasn't made sense to me for a little bit. It's like there's lots of gaps.
Yeah, he's got some big open areas underneath that armor where they could have plugged them, and all of a sudden you hear pew pew, just bouncing off the armor and everything, and it's like, come on, man, just hit something just once.
And so I guess their armor's not Beskar?
No, the stormtroopers isn't.
No, not the stormtroopers. The other Mandalorians.
No,
it should be Beskar, shouldn't it?
That's what I was thinking, but you'd think they would do the same thing he did.
True. I mean, yeah, but he looked like he was like his bell got rattled a little bit. With all the
he did.
So, he was out of breath when he was telling her go here.
Yeah.
Right.
So
the scene when they were walking down the hallway and they were what was it, the gas tanks where they were throwing them and then aiming, walking like this, I thought it was probably one of the best scenes ever.
Yeah.
And all you see is Bo-Katan's mask.
She's badass, man.
My favorite scene in there, that whole sequence, was when he's like, "You tracked them where?"
Yeah.
That was great. That was great.
That was great, man.
He's like, "Repeat, where did you trap them?" Oh, in the cargo control center. Where?
How do you like that? I think these are the first two Imperial officers that were not British.
No.
You said that. Yeah, you said that, and then all of a sudden, the pilot started talking. He's like, "We're going down, mate."
Yeah, right.
And then you're like,
the guy had a big tan.
Oh, tan as well.
His whole face was completely sunburned.
Yeah. Of course, they had. I feel like they had to throw in the impromptu Marvel moment. Where the guy's like, "Oh, you'll never find the dark saber," and then all of a sudden he kills himself. At that moment, I was like, "Oh, hail Hydra!"
Yeah, he bites on the futuristic version of cyanide.
Yeah. He's like, cut off two heads, or cut off one head, two more shall rise. Hail Hydra! And then he kills himself, and I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, way to incorporate that in there.
Yeah. And then Bo-Katan threatens Titus is because she's looking for the Darksaber, which that's why I wasn't disappointed at all that it wasn't Sabine Wren. I mean, I'm okay. She's going to probably come later down the road.
Yeah, I think so too.
When I saw Bo-Katan, I was like, you were the last one to have the Darksaber, so this is going to propel that part of the story forward, which is what I want to know the most at this point. Since the end of season 1, all I wanted to know is what the hell that is with the Darksaber. How did he get it? How did Moff Gideon get it? So I think that's going to be great.
Yeah, the minute she's like, you know what I'm, she's like, you know what I'm looking for, and and then she mentioned the Darksaber, and then I was like, oh shit, here we go. I was like, this whole season is basically going to be about them trying to reclaim the Darksaber.
True.
So
yeah.
True. Then she drops that other Easter egg. Not gonna say Easter egg, but that confirmation for all of us that Ahsoka Tano's going to be in it, and that was like. You already had me like at orgasm, and then you just took me to nerdgasm. I was like, totally.
I think I had to rewind that scene about 4 times because I just wanted to hear the name.
Yep.
I was like, yes, just keep saying her name. Let the hairs in the back of my neck stand up even more.
So then it's like, what's that entrance going to be like?
Right.
Oh.
And is it going to happen next week, or is
so
it going to be in a couple weeks?
Then I got to thinking. So since my whole Boba Fett theory got blown out of the water with her taking her helmet off. I really think Ezra Bridger's going to come back into this somehow.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that's because remember at the end of Rebels, Ahsoka and Sabine were making plans to go find him.
Yep.
So, but then they were talking about having Rebels season 2, didn't they? Or not season 2, but Rebels 2. I think is what they thought.
I don't think so. Because once that finished, I think once that finished, that's when they were reprising the last season of Clone Wars.
Clone Wars.
So they just decided to finish all that off and not continue with that.
See, I heard there was going to be a continuation where you just had Ahsoka and Sabine, and it's just going to be like their show as they go to try to find Ezra. I thought I read that somewhere.
It would be really cool though at the end of the season if they do like show the whole Ghost crew.
Ooh.
That would be awesome.
Right, because they're around. They should be around anyway.
Yeah.
So that would be cool to see that. And those are characters that you wouldn't have to worry about. You would have to get characters that kind of look like them, obviously, but they're not people that haven't been seen in live action. So
right.
That'll work. That would be really dope.
Yeah, so my theory is now when they're eventually going to drop Ahsoka, is it going to be the following week, or this week that's coming up, or the following week for Black Friday?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. She's hiding out on a planet called Corvus, which it's a reuse of a name. I think that's the same name of the ship that they had in Battlefront.
Because obviously this season, we're all joking about it, and we've heard other people joke about it too. That this season is basically turning out to be like a video game.
Oh, dude, side quest after side quest.
Yeah, he completed one side quest just now. Now he's back on his main quest. So are we gonna have another side quest episode next week, and then get back on the main quest, and then find Ahsoka the following week? I mean, so.
I love at the end that we get one more alien reference when they're about to fly off, and then monster comes out again, tries to attack Baby Yoda. That was very good.
And don't forget, you got to throw Boba Fett in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Which to me that was a waste. I already feel like that was a waste.
No, I don't think so. I just think they need to bring him back in, and I don't think they need to give him a backstory per se. I feel like there needs to be a little bit more of a warm handoff before they introduce him in another show.
Yeah, so that's supposed to come out before season 3.
Right.
Yeah, but he already left Tatooine. What was they were on Tatooine, right?
Tatooine.
Yeah, Tatooine.
Yeah, he was at Tatooine.
This guy loves to say Tatooine.
Try saying that 3 times, Seth.
Yeah. So they left that planet, and then obviously, so how are they gonna backtrack to that planet to catch up with Boba Fett?
I mean, they could. We don't know how they're going to bring us back there. And it may not even be him that deals with them. What if it's one of the other characters that end up on Tatooine and...
well, he's still got his armor on his ship, and that ship needs to get fixed.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk...
That's true. My issues with the ship being that destroyed is simply this. I just paid $350 for a damn model of that ship. Okay, because I love that ship. You better not destroy that and give him a whole other ship. That would suck.
Should we send Hasbro a little message, or Hasbro Plus sending them a message saying, "Can you please fix this ship? Let's start another campaign pledge."
Oh,
that's like the version that UPS delivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always handle with care.
Oh man, they better not mess that up. I am excited though that with Bo-Katan back, I'm pretty sure we're going to start seeing some product with her now. So maybe a Hot Toys or
a Black
Series
Series,
statue, something Black Series, definitely a Black Series. That's
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean every time there's a new character in the Mandalorian, it's like a rule of thumb. It gets its own Hot Toy.
Oh, I can't wait. I buy like 3 of that one.
One to keep in the box,
I love
one
it.
to put on display, and one to keep in my bathroom.
Nah, man, you don't understand, dude. It's like I love Boba Fett, I love the Mandalorian, but it's like there's so many of the female Mandalorians that don't get any play on the larger figures or statues, man. They always focus on Boba Fett. They always focus on now they're focusing a lot on the Mandalorian, but it'd be dope to see these other characters come out.
And you think they would have done a lot with Sabine,
right? Yeah,
And they
you would
didn't.
have thought they would have.
They got 2
They only
Black
had
Series
one
figures.
Black Series toy.
Yeah, they redid it, so they got 2 of the same.
Yeah,
one.
they got 2 of them. Yeah.
And then I think 2 or 3 Funko Pops.
Yeah.
I think there's only 2. Yeah.
Actually, on the Funko Pop side, they do have a lot. They have, I think they
There's
did
one with the
Bo-Katan.
helmet, one with the helmet off. There's one with the helmet on the side.
So, that'd be cool to see, man. I'm really interested in all that.
I hope they make a Hot Toy of the frogs. I would totally buy those.
You got to get the container, and you got to have a Baby Yoda with the container, so it looks like it's eating the eggs.
Yeah.
All right, so that is it. That will wrap it up right now. Join us next week. We'll be back again talking about the next episode of The Mandalorian. Hopefully, we will find out if Ahsoka is going to be on it or not, and we'll be just as excited as we were in this one, and it's not just going to be some photo side quest, but we'll see what's up. Appreciate you guys for joining us. As always, guys, keep it marvelous, and may the Force be with you.